What's up, y'all? I'm back out here on the range, as you can see, on a little bit of a cool morning out here. It's supposed to get up into the mid-60s though, and a really light breeze, so it ought to be a great day to do some testing. It was just mid-70s a few days ago, just that crazy time of year. But y'all ain't here for a weather report, so let's get on into it. I've got a few interesting things planned for today. We're gonna start it out with some fancy stuff from PMC. So y'all know the deal, the jelly contraption set up, ready to roll with the 2 chronos and a couple of freshly melted blocks of gel. No test done, so a really nice clear picture. As you can see, as always, I've got the heavy clothing barrier here with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got here for this one is some 9mm, and it's basically a rebirth of a fancy PMC round. We got the PMC SFX 124 grain Starfire hollow point. So this is loaded with their Starfire projectile, or what is now the Starfire projectile. I assuming it's gone through some changes, maybe not, maybe the same old thing, but from what I can see in pictures, it looks really nice. If it expands, it looks a lot like an HST. Now, as y'all can see, this is a 50 round box. The velocity on this box is saying 1126 feet per second. There's your cartridge there, brass case with that Starfire projectile. And the reason I'm being so specific about this being a 50 round box and that certain velocity, all of y'all probably don't watch my little ammo hunt videos, but the one from a couple of days ago, I went over a little bit of a weirdness going on with this PMC SFX. So I got this from PSA, and they have listed on their site 20 round boxes of this, and they have a 1201 velocity. Now, it's the same UPC number, same exact number here, so it ends with 0788. I ordered 2 of those 20 rounders because everywhere else I looked had this listed, the 50 round box with a little bit lower velocity. As you can see, PSA is the only ones that showed that 20 round box. So I went ahead and ordered a couple of those, and this is what I got. And then after doing some more looking, I don't think that 20 round box with that velocity ever came to be. I could be wrong about that, but I think it was maybe an early picture kind of thing, because all of the other actual in-hand pictures that I see of this stuff are these 50 round boxes at that velocity. Even on PMC's own site, they don't even list a 20 round box at all, and they have this box with that velocity, but oddly down below, as I explained in that ammo video, they have the 1201. So my guess is maybe that was a pre-release thing, and then after doing some more testing and more, figuring out what the exact plan was, they didn't go that way and went with this 50 round box and put it at this velocity. But really the main point of that is that PSA right now has this listed, this exact UPC number. Again, it says 20 round boxes, but it comes as 50, and they've got it for 17 bucks and some change for 50 rounds. So if this stuff ends up doing well, that's a heck of a deal before they fix that. I'm sure that's probably a mistake, because all the other places that have this 50 round, it's around 23, 24 bucks. So if this ends up being some good stuff, I'm probably gonna get another box or 2 before they fix it or change it or whatever. If y'all decide to, make sure you hit up that campsite link down below before you get there. But anyway, let's move on and see if all that was for nothing. This stuff may not be worth 2 cents. So I got a couple different barrel lengths here to test it from. We got the Shorty, the Canik Mete MC9 with the 3.1 inch barrel, and then the good old G17 with the 4.5 inch barrel. So I'm very curious to see what this stuff does. Again, looking at the pictures of an expanded round, it looks really impressive, but let's get this stuff set up and let's see what it could do. All right, y'all, let's see how fast these Starfires are moving. I'm gonna do a 5 round average from each barrel length, starting with this MC9 first. Those y'all not familiar with my channel, haven't watched my videos, this lab radar gives you multiple velocity readings. Your large number is right at your muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one is at 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet, and then you've got 10, 15, 25, and 50. Let's see what we get here. 1126 remembers what the box was saying. I don't really expect to see that out of this MC9, but it would be nice. Let's see what it gives us, y'all. 1078, 1063, 1081, 1056, and 1076, so definitely not the 1126. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5 round average that time from the 3.1 inch barrel was 1,071 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 25, gave us a standard deviation of 10.7. So 1,071, I mean, that's not super far off, I guess, just bringing from a shorter barrel. I'm just so used to running plus P plus and plus P plus and plus P's and all the pluses that if it ain't 1,200, I'm thinking, what in the world am I doing? But I guess that ain't too horrible. We'll see what happens in the gel. That's gonna be the main thing. Let me get it reset and let's try out the G17. All right, let's see what the G17 does for us. Remember, 1126 is what we're looking for. Based on that 3-inch, we may get there. I think we'll be right there at it. So let's see what happens with it. 1172, 1140, 1126, 1148, and 1156, so definitely glad to see that. It exceeded, I believe, on every single one of them. Let's check out the average. All right, so it definitely picked up some velocity on that one. We had an average that time of 1148. Our extreme spread was 46 and a standard deviation of 17.3. We had that first round that was way on up there at 1172 on that cold barrel, so probably why our spread there. So 1148, 124 grain projectile, I think that's actually gonna do pretty good. Again, it's not my plus P plus stuff, but I think that's pretty good for 124. 1148, and if you remember on that MC9, it was 1071. So what's that, 77 feet per second faster with that extra barrel length. So that's a pretty decent difference right there. What, about 8% or so. So the G17, I think it's actually going to do well. I've got really high hopes for this stuff just based on the picture I saw on PMC site. Now, you know, pictures ain't worth a whole lot. As far as the shorty barrel, if this is truly good stuff, that one should do well also. But let's get this stuff reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Can Starfire Give Us What We Desire jelly time. We'll put one round through each barrel length into the gel, starting with this MC9 first. I've got high hopes for this. Again, I really hope this stuff does well. Let's see what happens. All right, that was perfect placement. Let's go down there and see what we got. All right, y'all, unfortunately, that stuff didn't bring enough fuel or fire to get what we desired. So that's a big fat fail right there. That's very, very unfortunate. I was really hoping that stuff would do good. Now, that was at a lower velocity through that shorter barrel. So this right here should be moving at the claim velocity. So this is going to be, you know, this is going to be the telltale here. But already we should have got something out of that 3-inch. We would have with a good round. All right, that should have been another perfect placement. Let's go down there and check these things out. All right, let's check out what we got down here, y'all. Absolutely a mixed bag of results here. The one out of the G17 looks like it did a great job. The MC9, obviously not so much. So first one was the MC9 on the top here, comes in, very little disruption. You can tell it didn't expand much, if any, and goes on into the second block, and then we can tell, yeah, none. It didn't have any expansion. So no tumbling, it doesn't look like either, just a straight line all the way through, probably close to about halfway through this second block. But then the G17 added that fuel and fire that it needed. So it comes in, you can tell the difference immediately. You got some expansion there, nice little disruption all the way through this first block. Comes about, looks like maybe a half of an inch as far as the forward momentum from the end of this first block. So really nice penetration. And from what I can tell, looks like it's got some really nice expansion to go with that. So let's see what this penetration is on them. The first one from the MC9 is out here at 21 3/4 inches, so definitely way more penetration than what it should have gotten because of the lack of expansion. And then the G17 here, it's exactly 15.5 inches, so absolutely perfect penetration on that one. And then here's your closer look. Again, MC9 on the top, G17 on the bottom. You can definitely see the difference there all the way through this first block. There's your G17. Again, looks like it's got some nice expansion. Definitely took some cloth with it. If we go back up top here into the second block, it keeps on going. And there's the one from the MC9. Absolutely nothing. And then the same deal from above. The top one's the MC9, bottom's G17. You get a little better picture of how much bigger the G17 disruption is from this view. The MC9 is not nothing, but it's just not anything you would expect to get from an expander. And then again, into the second block. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Very, very obvious what happened with this stuff. This one right here is the MC9. This is the G17. Here's your MC9, and you can just see, I mean, it packed full of cloth. It absolutely got packed full of that cloth. So that's just a matter of it not being able to handle this heavy cloth barrier. The G17, on the other hand, it had enough speed to power on through it. That's really a shame about this one right here. Now, I know a lot of people's gonna say, well, why didn't you run it through bare gel or a t-shirt on there? Y'all, to me, that's totally pointless, because here's my thoughts on that. Why in the world, unless you've got a huge big old pile of this stuff for some reason, somehow, which nobody would at this point, then why would it matter? Why would you go out and get some of this stuff if you didn't have it, knowing how situational it is when there's so many other options? So to me, that makes no difference if this works through bare gel or t-shirt, even through that MC9. Now, what I am kind of still curious about is what would happen with a barrel length in between these if we just barely hit that 1126 that they've got on the box. Will we still get at least this performance right here? Because, you know, if you figure something that right in between, in the middle of that, you're going to be right at that velocity that they've got on the box. So as far as this ammo doing what it claims right now, I can't give it, you know, I can't say anything bad about it, because it does what it claims right here. It did exactly what it needed to do with that speed right here. As long as it meets that velocity on the box, which this did, it did a fine job. This didn't meet that velocity, so I can't really knock it too hard for that. Now, what I can say is there's other ammo at that same velocity that would still expand and perform through that MC9. But let's get some measurements and see what we got there. So they both started at 124. This one from the MC9 is actually 123.9, so nothing lost there, obviously. This one from the G17 is 124.0, right on the money, so nothing lost from either one. And then as far as measurements, we'll just do a base and length on this one. You got 355 right on the money and a length of 576. And then for this one here, that's a good looking expanded projectile. I kind of glossed right over that, I guess. That does look a whole lot like an HST or a V-crown. So measurements on this one, you got 556 and 570, so some really nice expansion on that one. And there you go, y'all, the PMC 9mm SFX Starfires. A mixed bag right here for sure. Really disappointing. I was hoping for some really good stuff even from this MC9. I really like how these resemble the HST V-crown kind of projectile. Really, really nice performance right here from this G17. Again, I can't knock the ammo completely because it did what it claimed at those velocities. This didn't meet the velocities. That is a shame still though, because again, there's plenty out there that do. I guess the bottom line is I'm probably not going to pick any more of this up. I've got 250 round boxes now. I probably will do a mid-length barrel just to see what happens in between these two. But if any of y'all are still interested in grabbing some of this stuff, definitely use my campsite link. But personally, I probably ain't gonna grab any more of it. All right, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up right there for this first test of the day that did what it claimed but didn't do what I was hoping. Again, great performance from the G17 when it was at the velocity that the box claimed it performed at, so it did exactly what it claims. The MC9, again, not so much. It just didn't have the velocity to get that cloth out of there. Like I mentioned, it may work through bare gel, it may work through t-shirt only. I don't know, I'd just be guessing. I can test that if somebody's really that interested, but you know, from my reasoning that I already talked about, I don't see a point. Now, as far as being in the middle here like a G19 size, I am kind of curious on that, so let me know down below if any of y'all might be interested in seeing that. But let me know down below what y'all think about it. What do you think about the performance out here today? Do you think it's worth picking up rounds that only perform in certain barrel lengths at certain speeds? Let me know down below what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you reach down and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on your notifications so you get notified when I upload new stuff. Again, a reminder to check out those affiliate links in the video description, not just for this stuff, but anything you might be picking up. Hit up those links down below, and anything you buy, get a kickback from them towards the channel. That really does help, so I really do appreciate that. Again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for showing the support to the channel that y'all do. I've got a couple more really interesting things planned for out here today, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.